All right, Chris, with that down, let's move on to main topic number 4. What's our fourth main topic today?
All right, this one's coming from Anthony. So it looks like the exodus of The Flash's directors strikes again. THR is reporting that Daly and Goldstein are out, with IT director Andy Muschietti in to direct the film, with the script being rewritten again by Christina Hodson, who did Bumblebee and Birds of Prey. And to me, this is great news because Daly and Goldstein haven't really done anything good besides being part of a group of writers for Homecoming. What are your thoughts on this development, yay or nay?
Well, the first thing I got to say is this. Do not downplay Daly and Goldstein's role in Homecoming. They were the leads as far as the writers in that go. They were first of all, they were the story by writers and they were the lead screenwriters. So don't undermine what their role in that was. They did a great job writing that script. They were the lead guys, the shepherds of that thing, and they did a great job. I also take issue with you saying they've never done anything good outside of that because they made what I thought was the comedy of the year in Game Night. I was skeptical going into Game Night because the only thing these guys had directed before that was Vacation with Ed Helms, which I am not a fan of. But Game Night, loved it. It's a 90s style comedy to me. I don't know what it is about it, but I just thought the pace of it was wonderful. The humor in it was sharp and great. And I thought, man, after I saw Game Night, I was like, yeah, bring these guys on for Flash. I think they could do something really great and really special with that. However, the remnants of the pre-Walter Hamada era DC seem to be sprouting up their heads again, as yet again they've lost directors for Flash. This is the third time they have lost named directors from Flash, and they lost them again. Here is the specific report that comes to us. It says, Game Night and Vacation writer-directors John Francis Daly and Jonathan Goldstein, who wrote drafts of the script, were originally slated to direct the project, but have moved on after months of creative differences bogged down the script. They wanted to do something light. The film's star, Ezra Miller, which why the F does the frickin' actor get a say in this, wanted to go dark. The pair's departure was said to be amicable. Yeah, my ass that this split was amicable. Look, Rob, you and I talked about this when this whole nonsense drama came up of, well, Warner Brothers is going to let Ezra Miller take a shot at writing the script. What the fuck is going on? Like, I love Ezra Miller. I really like him, and I like him as the Flash. But you've got your directors and screenwriters who said, this is the movie I'm making. Who the F cares what the actor wants? I mean, you want to let the actor have some input on their character and all that kind of stuff. Great. Who cares what Ezra Miller says? Let me take a draft. And the moment, Rob, you remember this, the moment they said, yeah, okay, look, we're going to let Ezra take a shot at making the draft, you just threw the directors under the bus. You completely neutered the directors. You took their penises in their hands, took out the scalpels, and just sliced it right off in front of the world. You did it publicly. Of course they're not doing this movie anymore. And don't tell me that the split was amicable. That was terrible. And now, just to add insult to injury, not only are they gone and they're not using their script, Warner Brothers shot down Ezra Miller's script too, and now they're just bringing in everything. This has been a giant clusterfuck. And I'm trying to swear less on my show these days. Have you guys noticed? I'm trying to swear less. It's a little difficult right now. This has been a complete disaster. This whole Flash project has been a disaster and a joke from day one. They've gone through they're going on to their fifth set of screenwriters now. They're now going on to, if Andy Muschietti does end up directing this thing, they're going on to their fourth director on this thing already. This movie was a movie that was supposed to be in theaters already, and who knows what's going on. Now, as of right now, they're saying that Ezra Miller is still attached to Star. I'm hearing that's not true. I'm hearing Miller's gone. That may be true and that may not be true. But the words I'm hearing coming out of Warner Brothers right now is that Miller is gone. And if the Ben Affleck situation has taught us everything, Warner Brothers won't tell us that an actor is actually gone till like a year after it happens. But I'm hearing Miller is gone. But as of right now, the official report is that he's still on, which is completely contradictory to everything they said before. They only had a certain amount of time to come up with it. Letting Ezra Miller write a version of the script was the last-ditch effort to save that relationship, keeping him on. They ditched it, but he's still there. Whatever. Maybe he's still there. Maybe he's not. Okay, let's talk about Andy Muschietti for a second. I like what he did with it very much. and I'm really excited to see it too. Other than Mama, he doesn't have a lot for us to go on. Like, I haven't seen anything else from him. He's done a couple of other smaller films, but I've only seen it and Mama that he's done. And I like him, but I've liked the other guys they brought on too. So whatever. I want to give this a chance. I think he's a good director. Bringing on talent's always a good thing. Let's see what happens. But Rob, I got to tell you at this point, I'll believe it when I see it. I don't know that this thing's ever going to actually happen at this point. Anyway, Rob, you're seeing all of this unfold and roll out before our eyes. What's your reaction to all this?
Well, way back in the Collider Hero days, John Schnepp and I, maybe even you, we were all three talking about, wait, what is up? Remember when the director of Dope was going to be on?
Who's now doing The Mandalorian, if I'm not... he's directing
I
The Mandalorian.
loved Dope. I thought Dope was great. I thought that would have been a great choice. And they're still trying to get their act together and figure this out.
Years later.
We're looking at 4 years in, perhaps. I don't...
They brought Graham on in 2016.
I don't understand what's happening with this project. But I think, look, the studio's had a great relationship with, is it Muschietti? Is that how you pronounce his name?
Muschietti, yeah.
Muschietti, after, it, $500 million, it Part 2 looks even better. And he's obviously
so good.
He's obviously well liked by the studio. And so why not? But this thinking that, well, a previous horror director made Aquaman, like that's their thinking now. They're like, well, a previous horror director might do Flash. And if you're already making $500 million for the studio, that means,
to your point,
there's a lot of...
a horror director just did Shazam too.
A horror
to
director,
your point,
yes.
Yeah.
So you've got, I guess they're drawing the line because what, a horror director, a genre director, whoever can bring reality or make people believe in a superhero can make people believe in Pennywise too. It's the same kind of skill set,
right? And
I get that, but I would rather hear that they hired a director who is fiercely and intensely passionate about the Flash as a character. That's what I want from my genre properties. Like, you go back to The Mandalorian, it sounds to me like everybody who's working on that show is a huge Star Wars fan, kind of the way that Ryan Coogler was a fan of the Rocky franchise when he did Creed. That's what I want to hear for this. Why don't they find somebody who loves the Flash?
Mm-hmm. I don't know. I honestly think that's an overplayed idea, because what I normally go back to in that is, look, they went out and found the world's biggest Dungeons and Dragons enthusiast to direct that Dungeons and Dragons movie. And that didn't help. They
also have to be a great director.
Yes. So that's the first point. Go out and get a great director. Yeah. And you get a great director, whether they're a fan of the source material or not, it can work, and it can work well. But I will agree with you that all other things being equal, if I've got two potential directors in front of me and he or she, they both have, I think they both got equal amounts of pros and cons, but one of them just happens to be really passionate about the Flash, well then, yeah, we're going to go with that individual one way or the other. But I think you're right, Rob. Look, you just look at this situation and there does seem to be a trend. I think that's a really good, because I didn't even think about that. There does seem to be a trend over there, let's go with some horror directors. And you're right, there does seem to be a correlation between the ability to make these, let's say, beyond reality types of characters feel more real. And I think there's something to that, I guess.
I also think, I think a Flash movie as a feature film is a really difficult nut to crack. We've got 6 years of The Flash on the CW, and how often do they sort of lay into that alternate universe, Speed Force, bringing in characters? They need to do a standalone Flash film that doesn't rely on the Flashpoint paradox, that doesn't rely on alternate universes, that doesn't rely on the cosmic treadmill. They need to do a standalone Flash film where his character can interact with a situation that's based on his character, as opposed to bringing in other characters. Mm-hmm. And I think that's hard to do with the Flash.
It is tricky to do. But Chris, you've seen this whole thing unfold. What's your reaction to it when you're seeing it?
It feels like right now, if they are keeping Ezra Miller on, they're just kind of trying to appease him. Let's bring you a horror director if you wanted a darker tone, which if you get rid of a script from Grant Morrison, don't go with a darker tone. If Grant Morrison couldn't deliver the kind of Flash script that works with dark tones, he did Batman R.I.P., he did Doom Patrol. If that one isn't gelling, ditch that concept. That's not going to work. I personally like my Flash when he's quippy. My ultimate Wally is Justice League Unlimited Wally West, who's quippy and fun, and I think it was Michael Rosenbaum who voiced him.
I wouldn't be surprised.
He did a great job on that, and I just don't think making him dark works. When Wally West is at his best, it's within the dynamics of a group. So it is hard to do a standalone film, like Rob was saying, because he is viewed as the best of everyone. He is so sweet and altruistic and makes the sacrifice play all the time. So how do you build a single story that shows that and gets you to fall in love with that character without having to rely on all of your other heavies and give him his own dynamic piece?
Yeah.
It's a really difficult sell. And having Hodson on board, I mean, she did do Bumblebee and everything.
Which I loved.
That's a great film. So I'm hoping that can at least add some levity to this and make us enjoy him, because The Flash is a sweet kid who has another kind of great power moment.
You know, as you just pointed out, I think that's a great hire. I think in terms of what she's written already, I think that's a great hire. I'd love to see what she's going to come up with, because in a way, Bumblebee is the perfect tone in terms of how your main character can be, even though Haley Steinfeld has nothing to do with Wally West or Barry Allen.
She brought so much heart to it.
Absolutely. And I think that's what we need. The Flash of all the DC superhero movies needs that winsome heart.
Yeah.
You know, that's what you need.
Which
Absolutely.
I think makes the whole drama with Ezra Miller that much more unfortunate, because I thought he portrayed that.
I did too.
I
great as
really
Barry.
liked his Flash. I mean, I understand there are some detractors about Justice League. I get it. But I really liked what Ezra did. And people give me crap all the time. But I'm sorry, I did. I really liked that emotion, that heart, that the levity you were talking about, Rob. I thought he brought it to the character.
John, I completely agree. And by the way, how jerked around must he feel? You know, you don't want your actor... You want your actor to feel like they're being taken care of. They're bringing their A game. The worst thing to ever do for an actor is to make them feel like they're not as welcome as they should be. You know, you want an actor to concentrate on acting.
They did say, fine, Ezra, you want to rewrite the script, we'll let you rewrite the script. Which you should never, ever do. You should never do that.
Maybe, but they got to the point where they felt like they had to do that. So I'm sure he felt... Look, the fact that he's hanging on is I've always loved Ezra Miller, and I kudos to him for still sticking around, if he indeed stuck around.
It's a white-collar job that you should have a blue-collar attitude about.
That's a great
I
way
think
that is a great way to put it.
All right, guys, listen, what do you think about this? And you know, what's unfortunate is getting lost in all this is the Andy attachment. Like, if he does actually end up, that's a nice director for something like this, at least looking at what he's done so far. But it's hard to just see that without all the drama. Anyway, you guys are seeing all this. What do you make of this whole situation? And that actually brings us to today's question of the day. And our question of the day today actually revolves around this whole thing. Here's our question of the day for you guys. DC's Flash movie has lost its directors for the third time and is now looking at it director Andy Muschietti. Do you think it'll actually happen this time? Watch today's live show. So the question for you guys is simple. Do you think now that this movie with Andy directing it will actually happen? I put this up just before the show started today. Right now, about 1,400 of you have cast a vote. 68% of you are saying, no, it's not going to happen. 32% of you are taking a more optimistic route, and you're saying, yes, this is it. This time, they've got it. Fourth time's the charm. What do you guys think? How do you think this is going to turn out? I'm going to leave this up on my Twitter for a bit, so head on over there. My Twitter handle is right there. It's @John Campea. If you want to go cast your vote, go and do that now. Okay, with that down...